What's up, guys? Ian here, coach of your Surrey Stingers. Not getting it wrong now. Bringing you guys a Week 7 team builder for the PTL Division 2. It's been a while because there was a break week, so I'm trying to get back into being comfortable with this team and all. A little bit difficult in terms of building for this matchup. We are taking on Blood and the Leuven Larvitars. Really cool dude. We're friends on Pokemon Go, which is fun. Yeah, I don't know. We talk outside of the server quite often. I've never battled him before. This is our first matchup. He's got a pretty scary team, really hyper offense based, pretty much no bulk, honestly. Like, it's just natural bulk on his team. He's got a Wish Passer and the Lickitung and whatnot. So let's talk about his team then. He's got the Tapu Bulu, Heatran, Hawlucha, Latios, Z Manaphy, Silvally, Palisand, Lickitung, Mega Beedrill, Z Aerodactyl, Sneasel, and Swadloon. He made some drops effective for me, I think, in terms of the Swadloon and whatnot. So I'm curious if he's bringing Swadloon just as a web setter. I'm not sold on it, but there you go. Priority users, he's got the Sneasel with Ice Shard, and that's it. Hazard setting, he's got the Heatran with rocks, Palisand with rocks, Beedrill with toxic spikes, Aerodactyl with rocks, and Swadloon with webs. Removal options, he's got the Hawlucha with defog, Latios with defog, Silvally with defog, Beedrill with defog, and Aerodactyl with defog. And then in terms of 4x weaknesses, his Tapu Bulu is 4x weak to poison, his Heatran is 4x weak to ground, Sneasel is 4x weak to fighting, and Swadloon is 4x weak to fire and flying. So I have all of those covered except for the fire. I've opted to go with flying over fire for the Swadloon because flying is more effective against the Hawlucha and the Bulu, and isn't and the Beedrill. So obviously flying is super effective against all of those, and Heatran is immune to fire. So and Manaphy resisted. So flying just hits his team a little bit better, despite the fact that he's got an Aerodactyl and a Heatran there. It'll hit his team really well. In terms of what I'm not expecting, I don't really think Silvally makes a lot of sense for him to bring. I think Bulutran, Lucha, Beedrill, Latios are all coming, and potentially Manaphy. It could just be those 6. Maybe Palisand comes, maybe. I think Bulu is going to be his Lopunny check, and if Bulu isn't his Lopunny check, then it's definitely going to be Palisand, because nothing else will function. Nothing else will function on his team as a Mega Lopunny check. Yeah, I think Tran's got a really good matchup. Beedrill is definitely coming for the Clefable. 100% is coming for Clefable. He's got a relatively hard time dealing with Jirachi, so maybe Sneasel makes an appearance, but I think Heatran's definitely his best Jirachi answer there. Palisand might come for Raikou, but Bulu can also handle the Raikou. Latios can handle the Raikou, so we might see a situation here where Latios doesn't show up. Potentially, I think Bulu Lucha is definitely coming. I don't have the best answers to Hawlucha. And Manaphy. Excuse me, I don't really have the best answers to Manaphy either. So that's sort of what's going through my mind here. Okay, so let's talk about my team then. In terms of what Lickitung is just a waste of space. I really don't see it coming. Swadloon might make an appearance every once in a while. Aerodactyl, same thing. I think it's got a good offensive matchup, but I don't really necessarily think he brings it over other things, so we'll see. Yeah, Lickitung just an unmon in this matchup. It really does absolutely nothing. Passing Wishes just doesn't really benefit him at all. His best bet is to get momentum against my team, and yeah, so we'll see about that. But first up is the Blastoise. Assault Vest Blastoise. This is my Heatran check. It's also my Manaphy check, although I don't have any coverage for the Manaphy because I don't get coverage for Manaphy. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do there. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with that. Might swap out Ice Beam for Dark Pulse. Huh. Excuse me, as you can tell, I was very obviously building this late at night. I didn't really think this through in terms of the Blastoise moveset, so I could definitely run Dark Pulse on the Blastoise, and I would hit the Latios, and it'd be neutral against the Manaphy. It's probably not doing anything to the Manaphy, though. Like Blastoise, you can see the move pool here. It really doesn't get anything to touch Manaphy outside of status moves. Like Roar and whatnot would be really useful, but I can't do that. He is Z, so Z Rain Dance 6-0s me, actually, looking at it. Yeah, I got absolutely nothing to touch it. Excuse me, something like Wakan or Rindo Natural Gift would be the best idea. But that's fine, I'll just go with what I've got. It wasn't really, it was mainly a Heatran check. Wasn't really designed to take on Manaphy anyways, just sort of said that off the top of my head there. Yeah, mainly a Heatran check, but I guess I can handle the Manaphy to an extent. I can maybe burn it if it's not a Z-Rain Dance set, and if it's not a rest set, then I'm fine. AV, just to tank the Tran hits. I don't need to be AV. Just realizing now I don't really need to be AV. I wanted Rapid Spin for the Swadloon, but his special attacking options just aren't good enough to warrant me being Assault Vest. So I'd much rather be Leftovers. Scrap Ice Beam for Dark Pulse. Set the play. I still like Ice Beam, but I like having Roar on the set over HP Flying. So we'll run Roar instead. That way we can get rid of the Manaphy if it does set up on us. I'm running a tiny bit of speed on this just to sort of, creep over creeping Heatran. That's the idea behind it, at least. Chomp is next. I'm running a Rocky Helmet Impish Defensive Chomp. So this is a really interesting set. I'm running Rocks, Stomping Tantrum, Poison Jab, and Dragon Claw. Poison Jab obviously there for the Bulu Stomping Tantrum to hit the Heatran in terrain if I have to. Dragon Claw is there to hit the Latios and the Hawlucha and the Aerodactyl. Mons that would float, essentially. Stomping Tantrum will hit everything else, bar the Swadloon. Oh, God. Excuse me. Bar the Swadloon, but I've got Poison Jab for that. Sneasel is going to run Ice Shard if it's coming, and so I'm just going to switch on it, probably into Blastoise. Don't mind too much my leftovers being knocked off. The recovery's nice, but it's not absolutely necessary. So that's what's going on with the Chomp there. Main idea behind being defensive this week, and I'll explain the speed right now, I guess, actually. I'm running enough speed for Heatran. So I will outspeed Timid Heatran. I didn't feel like it was worth my while to outspeed Manaphy because I'm not really killing it anyways, because I'm not offensive, at all. And I didn't really think it was worth my time to outspeed Silvally. It's going to run Ice Beam if it's coming. I'm just going to switch. His team has a lot of fast threats on it, so it's not... he's got, 6 Mons, base 100 and over, and I have 4. One of which is a Garchomp, one of which is Jirachi. Let's just cancel out the Jirachi and the Manaphy. So he's got 5, I've got 3. I'm not bringing one of mine. I think it's likely he brings at least 3 of his. So, yeah, let's not get into that necessarily. But I'm trying to punish the Mega Beedrill with this. So that's the whole idea behind this Chomp set, is that I am punishing the Mega Beedrill. Punishing it for clicking U-turn, punishing it for clicking Poison Jab. I don't know why he would ever want to click Poison Jab against me, except maybe against Braviary. But yeah, just punishing it outright. Excuse me. So he's going to take a shitload of chip from Rough Skin Rocky Helmet. And if he's got to switch into Rocks, then I can maybe whittle down the Beedrill enough with Garchomp still alive that I can work around that with the rest of the team, because Beedrill is the only thing that outspeeds my Mega Lopunny, which we'll get to in a second here. Yeah, so that's the whole theme behind the Garchomp, really, is punishing the Beedrill. I didn't really have anything else that could switch into Beedrill and punish it as effectively as the Garchomp can. And Beedrill doesn't get super effective coverage to hit me, otherwise Heatmore could punish the U-turns. But I resist the Poison Jab. I don't believe I resist the U-turns, but I resist the Poison Jab at the very least, and he doesn't get coverage to hit me outside of a random HP Ice somewhere. He could click Knockoff. He's still going to take the 1 turn of Rocky Helmet damage and all of the Rough Skin damage, and so that's the whole idea behind punishing that. Lopunny's next. Limber, of course, is the only usable ability. I'm not allowed to use Cute Charm, and Klutz is worthless because I'm a Mega, so yeah, fun that I'm not allowed to use Cute Charm, but Fake Out, Return, Ice Punch, High Jump Kick. Fake Out is there, again, to punish the Beedrill. Fake Out will do a crap load of damage to it, even though I'm Jolly. It's nice to waste a turn of Grassy Terrain if need be. It's nice to just fake out the Hawlucha. Obviously, he doesn't really have a normal resist. His normal resists are the Aerodactyl and the Heatran because of Scrappy. Return will body most of his team. I've got Ice Punch there just in case against the Palossand and the Tapu Bulu. I'm not entirely sure what his Silvally set might be, so Ice Punch is nice for that. And then I've got High Jump Kick just to hit everything. It's going to bop a lot of stuff that's slower than me. I'm not entirely sure he's going to run Protect on everything, but I'm going to scout for it first before clicking it. Protect Sneasel, that would be the play. That's for sure. That would really be the play. High Jump Kick, it's really hard for him to switch into. Even his 4x resistant Beedrill doesn't take it that well because its defense is piss poor. And it's not going to take fake out. It's not going to take multiple fake outs either. So I can always cycle in and just continuously fake out. But yeah, I'm running enough speed on here for the Aerodactyl. Goodness gracious, excuse me. He is Z Aerodactyl. He might be Z. It's more likely that it's on the Manaphy, but he might be Fly Z for me. And I was debating, I was looking at this team, and I was like, oh my god, if I run max speed Adamant Lopunny, I can speed tie max speed Jolly Hawlucha. He's not going to ever be that set, but he might be. And then I looked and I saw Aerodactyl, and I'm like, okay, well, fine, fuck me, I guess. I've got to outspeed the Aerodactyl. So that's the idea behind the Lopunny, and the spread at least. Ice Punch hits everything that Stab doesn't, essentially. Or it hits it harder than Stab might in regards to the Tapu Bulu in particular. Roserade is a potent offensive threat this matchup. Really excited to be using Roserade here. HP Ground for the Tran, Sludge Bomb for the Bulu, Giga Drain for the Manaphy, really. I mean, honestly, it just, everything slower than Roserade gets fucking destroyed by it, and everything faster can kill it, unfortunately. That's just the harsh truth, except for maybe Manaphy. It's going to struggle to be able to kill me with an Ice Beam unless it's boosted. Life Orb secures a kill on fully specially defensive Heatran, not Shuka, but fully specially defensive Heatran. Life Orb secures a kill on it with Hidden Power Ground. I've got Spikes there to punish his grounded Mons. His team isn't entirely grounded, but it would be nice to get some good chip off on Mons like Manaphy. Mons like Silvally if it does come. Heatran in particular, a Spike will put it in range of Hidden Power Ground almost certainly, unless he's fully Spadef Shuka. So yeah, Spike will punish the Bulu and whatnot as well, punishes the Palossand switching into Lopunny. Yeah, so it pressures everything that it'll want to switch into Lopunny. It pressures the Beedrill a little bit more too, so going for that is pretty effective. I would have gone T-Spikes instead, because it's better damage against the Manaphy. I'd like to get the poison off on that, especially if he is the Rain Dance, then we can bait that out earlier maybe. Or at least show the Rain Dance for his hydration. And I'd like the T-Spike against the Sneasel as well. But Mega Beedrill is definitely coming, and it's not really worth my time to bring T-Spikes when his Grounded Poison is showing up to the game. So that's kind of the idea behind Roserade. I'm running enough speed on here for Tran. Turns out max speed Modest Roserade outspeeds max speed Timid Tran. So there you go. Unless he's Scarf Tran, then I'm in a really bad spot. But if he's Scarf Tran, then Blastoise does stuff, and he's not Z Tran, so he can't be Z Solar Beam. Although he could be Power Herb Solar Beam, which is worthwhile to talk about. Braviary's next. I was originally banded Braviary because his flying resists are literally Heatran and Aerodactyl, and Heatran doesn't get recovery, and Lickitung is, like I said, it's an Unmon in this matchup. Brave Bird spam was really free against him. He's got a lot of flying weaknesses that his resistances, in quotations, don't make up for. And Superpower beat the Tran anyways, and it beat an Aerodactyl that was roosting. But I swapped the Scarf because I realized I wasn't going to run a Scarf on anything else this week, and I needed a Scarfer against his team. Technically, Mega Beedrill can outspeed me. I don't think it will. I don't really think that he's going to want to creep the Beedrill that way. I think he's just going to creep over Mega Lopunny, or potentially over Mega Lopunny over Aerodactyl, which would save him even more EVs, but it's pretty irrelevant against the Mega Lopunny because I would click priority move anyways. But yeah, so it's likely that I will outspeed the Mega Beedrill with this speed investment and the Scarf anyways, but just in case, I may not. His knockoff users are the Manaphy, the Beedrill, and the Sneasel. To note. U-turn is really good momentum here. I don't have any momentum on this end, and I'm not bringing Raikou, and I'm not bringing U-turn on Jirachi either. So I need the U-turn for something. Superpower's there for the Tran if I need to. Shadow Claw's there to body the Palossand if necessary. Also the Latios, but I think Brave Bird's doing more based on the base power. 120 versus 70. Actually, it might have to be 60 for that to be doing more. I am outspeeding something. Heatran. I can't run 142, as you can see, so I have to run 143. Because I'm a boosting nature, I can't run 142, so I'm outspeeding Heatran, just like the majority of my team, actually. Garchomp, Braviary, and Roserade all outspeeding Heatran. Yeah, I don't know. Max attack, a little bit of bulk, pretty basic. Jirachi's last. I'm running a Future Sight set with Grassy Seeds. The idea behind this is that this is my Hawlucha check, in quotations. So I'll get the Grassy Seed boost. Psychic will always break a sub. Future Sight is useful for a variety of mons, honestly. And I can T-Wave the Hawlucha if he gets a Grassy Seed boost and kill it. Or at least cripple it, sorry. T-Wave spam is really effective against all of his fast mons, honestly. So that's kind of the idea behind the Jirachi there. If I get Pursuit Trap by Sneasel, then I'm in a really bad spot against the Hawlucha. So I'm going to try and keep Jirachi in the back for as long as necessary. Shadow Ball's there just to hit the Latios. Otherwise, Psychic Spam does relatively well against him, bar Sneasel as well. So we'll see if he wants to bring the Sneasel or not. But besides that, this Jirachi set is in a prime position to, at the very least, just T-Wave a whole bunch of shit and slow stuff down for Megalopony to kill them, maybe. Max speed for the Manaphy, max HP. I could have split this. I don't know, man. I definitely could have split this. There's not much. I didn't go into depth enough, and I don't care enough right now in this moment. I don't care enough to optimize the EVs on the Jirachi, so we're just running max HP. That's all there is to it. Yeah, okay, in terms of what I didn't bring, Clefable gets bodied by the Beedrill. It could have been alright as a Hawlucha check, maybe. Tran is going to run steel coverage for it, so I don't know. It's not really worth it all that much. Still gets slowed down even with Magic Guard by the Sticky Webs. Calm Mindset could have been okay, but he's going to have Poison Jab on the Sneasel too. Raikou looked alright. Could have run Shadow Ball for the Palisand, which makes up for me not having to run HP Ice against it, because Shadow Ball would have covered the Latios and the Palisand, so Raikou could have been good here. I was not against the Raikou, but I just wasn't able to fit it onto the team. Honestly, Roserade had a better offensive matchup than Raikou did, so there was no point in running Raikou. Drapion beats Bulu, loses to Tran, loses to Beedrill, loses to Palisand, has a really tough matchup against Palisand. It'll run Colbur Berry for Drapion most likely. I am double dark on this team, aren't I? No, I'm thinking of another team. Okay, I'm thinking of my WPL team potentially when I say double dark. And I'm not even double dark there. I'm double poison in both cases with Drapion. Okay, yeah, I don't know. Drapion's, it's not coming to this game. There's not really much more to say about that. Can't check everything. And even though it was an alright Latios check too, I don't know, man. I'd rather have Blastoise. Drapion could have been a Manaphy check with Whirlwind, but I really didn't think of it, and I'm not changing the team at this point. Golurk, it's decent. I was thinking of bringing Golurk, actually. I was thinking of it. It's weaker to Sneasel, or on the same level of weak to Sneasel as Garchomp is, but Garchomp could punish the Beedrill harder than Golurk could, which is, I was bringing Golurk as another U-turn resist and a Poison Jab resist for the Beedrill, but knockoff beat it, so there was too much there. And then Heatmore, it gets walled by the Tran, except it does get Stomping Tantrum, so I could have run like a fast Heatmore here. Might have been able to break through Bulu Tran, potentially, because it can actually do that, funnily enough. Or like a Taunt set for the Swadloon, but opted to just run the removal on the Blastoise for webs, and I don't really think that webs are going to come. If they do come, then I'm going to have to rely a lot more on clicking Thunderwave with Jirachi. Yeah, that's it. Hopefully this was entertaining. It probably wasn't, because I'm like getting back into recording team builders for PTL, and I just got home from work, so I'm really tired. But that's going to be it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoy the match, and I will see you guys then.